it's Shara from Shara Made Crochet back for another video. It's been far too long, and I'm really excited to catch up with you on what's been going on in the last month. Let's go ahead and jump right into what I wanted to say. First and foremost, I wanted to say hi and welcome to all of my subscribers, new and old. I know that in the last couple of weeks I managed to gain a couple more subscribers, so hi and welcome, and I appreciate the time you take out of your day to come and listen to me chat about what I've been up to. This video, I'm pretty sure is going to be a long one, so if you guys want to go ahead and grab like your crochet or your like something to drink, tea, coffee, whatever it is, now would be a perfect time to go grab some while I ramble. Part of the reason why I've been on hiatus was last week. The last couple of weeks, honestly, I've been kind of fighting with my crojo. I kind of lost it here and there. Nothing was really satisfying me, and so when things like that happen, I start looking for new projects to start, and then I start all of the projects with probably no real end in sight. Like, chances are likely I won't finish a lot of them, or I'll frog them and restart a lot of them. Either way, it wasn't worth showing you a video on, just because like in my spare time my hands want to crochet, and if I have nothing to show for it, or if I have something to show for it but then like never show you again, I feel that it's not only a waste of my time but your time. So yeah, that's why I haven't been on for the last couple of weeks. So yeah, but I have been busy, and I don't know if I got my crojo completely back, but I have a lot to show. So okay, so the other thing that I wanted to talk about before I really jumped into the crocheting was Aki Matsuri. Now Aki Matsuri was the Japanese fall festival. It's a craft fair that me and a friend of mine did last month. Now, I had made a video on like everything that had happened, like all the details about it, but my audio cut off about halfway through the video, and I couldn't use the video. So I am going to explain to you everything that went down with Aki Matsuri, and then I'm going to show you my finished objects. So yeah, Aki Matsuri is the Japanese fall festival. I did mention that a second ago, but it was like the perfect day. I think the highest it was 85, and it was still considered hot, but I was in the shade most of the time, so I didn't get like the full brunt of it, so I was really lucky about that. I managed to break even at least, and make even a little bit more than what I had paid for the booth, so I am really happy about that. I did vend with a friend of mine. Now, because the previous year she had volunteered as a photographer for the event, the coordinator asked her to be the photographer again, so she couldn't be a full-time partner with me. So what she did was she brought a friend who was an absolute godsend. First of all, apparently her dad does a lot of craft fairs. I don't exactly know what he sells. I don't think he's overly crafty. I think it's just it's a business that he promotes. So he goes to a lot of events like like Aki Matsuri. So we had a veteran on our hands, and it was so great because I didn't really know what I was doing, and I was freaking out. And it was only by following her lead that I managed to calm down and like get into the skin of salesperson. I have worked in retail and customer service in general, and when you work in environments like that, many times the environment can be a little hostile, or sometimes get to a hostile place, just like by having a bad day or a long day in general. And instead of wanting to greet people, you want to, you kind of want to give off the aura of not having people come in at all. And I had to remember that I wanted all of them to come closer. So I just kind of had to like dispel any negative feelings that I had about working in that kind of environment, and remember that it was fun. And for the record, it was very fun. It was a very sunny day. I think there were only like a handful of crafty vendors. Everybody else was kind of, they weren't selling anything. They were trying to promote other things. I think we had a blood donor tent as well. So we were very fortunate to be one of the few places that people could spend their money on besides food. So what I sold everything except for 4 of my cowls, and I did not sell any of my bags, like the Malia bags or the mosaic bucket bags. None of those sold, and that was because the other crafty vendor that was nearby, she made hand-sewn goods. Hand-sewn. She sewed all of her merchandise, is what I'm getting at. And they are beautiful, beautiful things, and well worth the money. And a lot of people bought bags from her, so I'm kind of not, even I bought a bag from her, so I'm kind of not even upset that I didn't sell my bags. But yeah, so I didn't sell any of those, but I sold literally everything else. I was really glad that my friend was vending with me, because by the time 2 o'clock rolled around, I was kind of like, I was sweating with how little I had, and I didn't have like anything else to like cover up the blank spaces. So yeah, that was pretty amazing, but also like a problem in a good sense, I guess you can say. But yeah, and it was pretty amazing, like the turnout and everything. We had a whole bunch of people just like congregating over to us in huge masses. Like, I don't really know how to describe it, but like even with 3 people, it was like we couldn't say hi to everybody. It was like we could not give enough attention to our customers, which I kind of feel bad about, but at the same time, it's also, we tried our best to make sure that nobody was kind of left out. And it was pretty amazing to see how, as soon as it seemed like we were opening our arms and our doors to the people outside of the like big crowd in front of the table, they were like, oh, you know, I can be a part of this little thing too. And so they came closer, and you know, it might have taken them a few more minutes, but they did make their way over to see what we had, just because we acknowledged them in general. So I will definitely take that with me for future reference, to always make sure to greet my customers. So we did have a couple of hiccups. We forgot ones, like $1 bills. That was pretty stupid of us. But our friend, she went to Target and she got she fixed the problem basically. And then I completely forgot pen and pad, and I didn't think that I honestly would need it, but I also was not expecting for people to come up to me and ask for like information to get a hold of me should they want something. So I know better next time. I won't do that again. I also kind of like notes for next time. I really do want to work on making some business cards so that I can hand it out to people so that they can see what I've been up to, or, you know, follow me on YouTube, whatever. So yeah, overall, Aki Matsuri left me like on a high note. I really want to continue to do craft fairs, and we will, for the record, do more another Aki Matsuri, but it will not be next year. We're thinking of 2021. So yeah, I don't think there's anything else for me to talk about with Aki Matsuri. Just know that it was a fantastic day. It was definitely a day worth remembering. So yeah, let's go ahead and go to my finished objects. Now, because I've been working, or I've been trying to like force my way through my lost Crojo, I guess you can say. I've been working on small things. I kind of wanted to use up some of my stash, so I kind of went with an old method that I did before with some baskets and stuff. And so anyways, let's go ahead and jump into it. So the first thing that I made was, this is the closest thing to me. I made another Yarnspirations cable twist cowl and hat. So here it is. This is Must Be Merino in gold. It is a DK weight yarn, and I believe for this one I used a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. Oh, it is so pretty. This has been waiting in my stash for me to use it. It's perfect. And I believe with this one, I think I chained I did a foundation double crochet of 96. So there's that. Here's the hat. For the hat, I believe I just used a 5 millimeter crochet hook. Now, I followed the pattern, but the stitch count is different because I almost never make gauge ever when making pattern or when following a hat pattern, which is why I used to hate making hats. But I've learned some things since then, so I try to work with the knowledge that I've learned from making hats to other hat patterns. Now, it doesn't apply to all of them, but what I can do, I will try. So there's that, and then I have another hat pattern. And this, let me see what it's called. It's called the Twisted Cable Hat. No, it's not. That was the other one. It's called Give It a Whirl Hat. And a while ago, Debbie from the Canadian Crocheter actually made a couple of hats from this. I really like it. This is where I seamed it. I used a 5 millimeter crochet hook and the Mandala Ombre yarn in the colorway Cool. This hat started off with like the gray, which is why most of it is like the lightest gray. It's almost white. You won't ever see. Let's see if I can put it on. It actually looks really cool. So And I did make it with the intention of not having a brim. My only problem with this hat, well, I have two problems, but one is a design comment and one is just because I'm me. The comment is, I kind of wish that she gave how tall she wanted the hat to be, because I had to look up. I don't know any of this stuff off the top of my head. You know, I don't know how tall hats should be. I don't know how tall things, and here's the thing, I don't want to measure for just me because I have a smaller head. So if I were to do from my nose to the crown of my head, that would be different from another person. So I kind of wanted a universal number. So that kind of bugged me. But you know what? I found the information, so it wasn't like it was completely hopeless. And then my other problem was literally because this is all in single crochet and it takes forever. So yeah, this is the other hat. This one is a lot more evenly variegated. It's from the same ball. Like, I used up almost every thing it could give me. I was almost starting to feel like I was going to run out of yarn and it wasn't going to fit. This one is a little bit longer, but alas, it is not long enough for a proper brim. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and throw it on because it does look, at least in the front, you can totally do it. But in the back, I have to leave it down because I need it to cover my ears. Otherwise, I get awful earaches. See, it has this really cool effect going that I really, really like, and that is why I need to figure out how long to make a hat, because this right here is so cool. And I like that it can be made for, it's unisex, so I like that I can wear it and my son can wear it. Without it having to feel too like boyish or girly or something. So yeah, I hope that show and tell wasn't a hot mess. What else is there? Oh, so at Aki Matsuri, one of the things that people apparently asked for, it was like the one time that I was away from the booth, but somebody asked for fingerless gloves, which makes sense. I did try one pattern. It is the Dragon Scale gloves by the Yarnivore UK. So there it is. It's a free pattern that I got off of Ravelry. It's very pretty and it works really well with gradient yarns, which is something that I need right now because I have a bunch of gradient yarns that I don't really know what to do with. I did make two pairs. The first pair is complete. The second pair, I need to buy another skein of yarn and then quite possibly make a third pair. Here it is. Here's the second pair. I tried to make it as close as possible to being identical. And it turned out pretty okay, I think. I believe I used a 4mm crochet hook and the Yarn Bees Katarina in Regal Rose. This is like, I think it's a category 2 yarn or like a sport weight yarn, but I feel that it's more like a fingering weight, especially when I was crocheting the crocodile stitches. I don't really know, but it worked really well. And let's see. these fit me, which means that it'll probably fit a middle schooler. But I really like the way this looks. So yeah, there's the first pair. The second pair, this is the only completed one. And the ends aren't woven in because I'm still contemplating whether or not I want to pull this yarn, like frog it a little bit so I can give some of it, like I don't have a scale or a means to measure my yarn or weigh my yarn. So I guessed, and I guessed wrong, how much yarn I had between the two gloves. This is Red Heart Unforgettable yarn in the colorway Dragonfly. And I really like it. It's full of blues and turquoises and purples. And then this is the sad, smaller second one. That's a little bit closer to color. This one I made a little bit bigger than my hand because I have really petite hands. Almost everybody has bigger hands than me, so I just assumed that I should probably make some of mine bigger. So those are my dragon scale gloves. Now the next one that I made was my stash busting project, and I'm very happy to say that it took away 5 skeins. But I made 3 of them, and here they are. They are bright pink. And this is, it is called the Helpful Hanging Basket. It is another free pattern that I found on Ravelry. I basically used between 4 and 5 strands of DK weight and baby weight yarn. Held together in like a 10mm crochet hook. And for this one I did do something different. So in the pattern, basically where it told me to double crochet 1 in every stitch, I did that for 2 rows instead of 1, and that happened twice in the pattern, but I don't remember where in the pattern for this one. And it kind of, I was really concerned because it kind of started looking like one of those cat baskets you see people making, but it works really, really well. So I'm happy with it. I think I like this version the best, so kudos to that. Let's see. This one I did true to pattern because I wanted to see how it would turn out. I don't exactly know how I feel about it. It kind of just looks like an oversized beret. I definitely want to make it deeper next time, but I want them to be hanging baskets, not display cases. And then the third one is a little mixture of both the original pattern and the modified pattern. I think for one of the rounds that they tell you to do a double crochet on, I followed the pattern once and then I did it for 2 rows the second time. I hope that makes sense. But here it is, and it's not as thick. It still works really well, but my favorite is definitely the first one that I made. This is all acrylic yarn that I felt that I was never going to use, so I coordinated them together. And they work well enough. The first one that I showed you is definitely the one that's going to get the most use. And then the last one that I showed you will probably get about as much love, but I don't really know how I feel about the third one just yet. So yeah, that is everything I believe that I've been up to. Sorry if this video is kind of sporadic. I kind of wanted to make sure that I got through everything. I know that some parts I rambled on and some parts I didn't show the projects well enough, and that just comes from like being out of practice. But I do appreciate you coming by, stopping to say hello, and I look forward to hearing from you, and until next time, adieu.